Hey friends. So I had a really interesting experience today. And it's funny because I was coming in here to do my post and I was going to talk about something that I had clocked about a day ago. And something told me, no, go outside and water the garden first. That something else might be trying to come through, and just a little bit of like time watering the garden might let it come through. And man, I'm telling you, standing there with the hose, watering the flowers, and in comes the thing. So that was kind of a cool little experience in itself of just listening to my subconscious say, hey, I'm trying to talk to you. Bing, let me, give me a moment. Can I have the floor, please? And then getting this beautiful little nugget. So, but what the nugget actually was had to do with so I may have mentioned on this post, I'm doing a teacher training program right now on piano with Madeline, with my piano teacher, from whom I'm also taking just regular lessons. And she's doing an advanced teacher training workshop. It's 18 weeks long, so it's a good chunk of time. And it's been remarkable already. It's already been a remarkable experience for me. And today was, if anything, the most kind of powerful day yet, both in terms of developing my own teaching and some awareness around that, and also in terms of the lesson that I actually took when I was in the kind of student role was also really powerful. And that was the one that sort of flashed into my awareness as I was just outside watering, because I thought to I've had this sense before, but I had it again today, and I'm having it in a number of ways in my life, and I can look back and see various scenarios where this has been the case. And a simple way of just encapsulating what it is that I feel like I'm often in the student role performing a teaching function. And all great teachers that I've worked with, they all talk about very explicitly, as in the teacher-student relationship, the teacher learns as much as the student. That's exactly my experience with my own students, and there are even occasions when I feel like I'm learning. It's really, this is an educational experience for me as the teacher, even though I'm ostensibly in the teaching position. The student, for whatever reason, what's happening is as much or more of an educational event for myself as the teacher as it is for the student. But and I felt this in the student role too. I felt like, oh, I'm in this student role, but I'm also reflecting to this teacher, and it's been a conscious thing. And that's the half of the equation that's sometimes harder to be aware of, because as the teacher, we know we're responsible for imparting something, and it's also evident when something's coming the other way, and we can reflect on, oh, I know I'm offering something, but look how much I'm receiving. I'm receiving something here. But as the student, it's like my role is to receive something. My role is to, not that's oversimplifying, but my position in the relationship is I've come to the teacher to learn from their wisdom and expertise, incorporate their knowledge and experience into mine. And so it's not always as obvious that what we're offering back to the teacher is also an educational experience. Sometimes we can be aware of that, sometimes it's kind of obvious, but other times it's a little more subtle. And I would say, in my own experience, it's the half of the equation that I recognize less frequently. But when I do, and I've had this experience now, again, over the years, a number of times, and with a number of different teachers, and it really feels like part of my journey is to teach from the position of the student. And I'm still working that out. What that is, what that means, how I'm supposed to what I'm supposed to do with that realization, with that recognition, because what I do know is I am an enthusiastic student. I have been an enthusiastic student all my life. It's been one of my great joys to find teachers that inspire me, and to I happen to be someone, I'm just interested in a lot of stuff, so I'm available for instruction by what appeared to be wise, experienced people. I don't have to try hard to listen up and try and glean something from them. It's an easy role. Now, in some ways, it's even I would say maybe almost to a fault. I've placed myself in the student role over the course of my life quite a bit, and almost, I think, and I've gotten this reflection from a variety of sources, but almost to the point where it's like, well, why are you putting yourself in the student role? What's the deal there? Aren't you at least as qualified to teach as the teacher? And sometimes the answer is yes, you're right. It's almost like a defense. It's almost like a not having to stand in my own power, but still being able to engage with what I love and what I'm interested in, but from a position of, well, I'm still the student, which you get to a certain age and that starts to be like, what? Come on. You kidding? So there is that dynamic in my experience, and in my I would say it's in my patterning as well. But that being said, and those instances notwithstanding, there really is also an aspect of my creative life, and I'm doing a talk with at Seattle Community College tomorrow on living a creative life and navigating a creative career. And there's an aspect, there's almost like a kind of principle in my creative life that has remained consistent over the years, which is, don't be afraid to find teachers who inspire you. And I feel like I've had a level of fortune in that department, and a level of just total blessing to have encountered the teachers that I've encountered. I mean, again, most recently, this experience on piano with my teacher now is just kind of mind-blowing. I'm like, wow, look at what I can still learn. Look at what I'm still capable of integrating. And I would encourage any artist, any young artist or any old artist, to open that door. To open that door to a kind of, it's like a combination of vulnerability and wide-eyed curiosity. allowing ourselves to be really moved and not necessarily dazzled by a teacher or by an artist that we admire, but touched. And for that to open a space in us so that we don't say, oh, that's a great artist, good for them, look at them out there doing this amazing thing, I could never, the kind of like tacit subtext being, I could never do that. But actually to engage with it in a way that kind of that teaches us in the moment of witnessing it, I could do that. What if I could do that? And it's not even like doing that, not necessarily that I want to do what they're doing, but what does it evoke? If I witness someone in total freedom and total expression, what does that provoke in me? What does that inspire me to feel could be possible for me? And that's just an experience that I can really only got good things to say about it, and I could really only recommend it. But it kind of does require a level of vulnerability and a level of one thing I noticed today as I was in the student role, and I felt that I was actually performing a teaching function from the student role in some capacity. Of course, I was also receiving an amazing lesson from the teacher, but I could tell, oh, I'm also playing a role here as the student, but kind of teaching the teacher as the student. And yeah, one of the things that showed up was just how unbelievable how unbelievably available we can be. It's like it was, and I think what really hit home was there's a couple moments where I was conscious of my mind wanting to take over and wanting to either say something clever or assert that I knew something, that I understood something, or it was just a level of like the ego trying to affirm itself. And I realized if I want to honor this moment, and if I want to both give as much as I can and receive as much as I can, it's total humility. It has to happen in total humility. I have to now not affirm my ego. I have to now not let that head voice go, and just stay in humility. As much as I'd like to claim something here, if I do that, I'll ruin it. If I do that, and I won't ruin it, but I'll choke off the flow of what's happening here right now, and of what's possible here right now. So there was really a moment of just connecting with, okay, I'm going to engage with total humility, with total not knowing, and total letting go of needing to affirm myself or assert myself, and just see what happens. And it was like, I could tell this amazing membrane kind of embraced us, me as the student, and this incredible person that I was working with as the teacher. So anyway, big day, big stuff, but a really positive step, and a really nice insight to kind of crystallize it for me. So that's where I am today, folks. Thank you. Love you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.